I'm Diana from Money Boss Mama, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all the things you need to do to pay off credit card debt, especially if you don't have a lot of money to apply to your balances. So let's go ahead and get into it with tip number 1. Okay, so first things first, you need to understand how much interest is being charged to your account. Interest is the silent killer because it can literally make or break your ability to pay off debt, especially when you take into consideration your APR, which is your annual percentage rate, and the amount of your balances. And interest is how credit card companies make money. They make money off of interest charges and fees. So if you're letting a balance sit there, then they are basically making free money off of you every single month. Gather your monthly statements and look at the interest charges. Then compare the interest charges to your payment to see exactly how much of your payment actually applied to your balance and how much went to interest. A good thing to do is to compare the interest charges to the minimum payment that the credit card company came up with, just so you can see if you made only the interest payment, how much would actually be applied to your balance. Tip number 2 is something that you are probably sick of hearing, but you need to hear it every single time. Create a budget that aligns with your goal, and your goal is to pay off credit card debt. Now, don't create this budget and just forget about it. Creating the budget is the fun and easy part, but sticking to it is a whole other story. And I made this mistake in the beginning. When I created my budget, I was like, cool, you know, everything's gonna be peaches and cream from here on out because my money now knows what to do. Newsflash, your money doesn't know what to do. You have to make it do what you put in that spending plan, aka your budget. So be intentional and set your intentions on spending the money the way that you planned for it. Buckle down and follow the spending plan that you created, and just remember, guys, that this is only temporary. If you want to go out and get your nails done but you really can't afford it because you are drowning in credit card debt, so you had to cut it out of your budget, remember that this is only temporary, and do what you need to do now so that you can get back to living the life that you want. The next tip is to set a minimum payment and stick to it. And no, this is not the regular minimum payment that your credit card company has calculated. This is going to be an amount that you commit to sending to your credit card balances each month. And so when you've been playing around with your numbers whenever you were creating your budget, this should make this part really easy because now you see how much extra money you have to apply to your credit cards. Whatever amount that you set, make sure it is over the actual minimum payment, because going back to the interest charges that we were talking about before, even if it's just $5 or $10, anything over that amount will really help to cut back on those interest charges, thus allowing you to pay off that balance a lot faster. Let this car go by. Be realistic whenever you are setting this minimum payment amount, because you will need to commit to sending this amount to your credit card balances every single month. If you send more, that's great, but this is the absolute minimum that you can send to your credit cards. And doing this allows you to have a lot more control over your debt payoff date, and it makes you a lot more intentional with your spending. So now you know how much you need to apply to your credit cards every single month. So next time when you're at the store and you see something and you really want it, you are more prone to ask yourself, do I really need this? And is this going to cut into that minimum payment that I'm supposed to be sending to my credit card balances? The next tip that I have is to stop seeing your credit line as money that is available for you to spend. To get out of credit card debt, you need to have a massive mindset shift. This is all a mindset game, and not just with credit card debt, but for any debt for that matter. You created your budget, so you know you have enough money to pay for your expenses, including your debt payments. Do you find yourself paying off a balance on your credit card and then running it right back up again? I've got a solution for you. Tip number 4 is to set up a rainy day fund. Something that is really difficult and was really difficult for me was to stop being stuck in this yo-yo effect. And that is when you pay off a certain amount on your credit cards and then you run it back up again. And then you pay it off and then you run it back up again. And so you are stuck in this up and down motion. So your balance is going up and down, up and down, up and down. And basically your balance is staying the same. Now, this is different from an emergency fund. So I like to separate the two terms. Emergency fund and rainy day fund are different. Emergency fund is for emergencies. A meteor has crashed through your home. Someone has totaled your car. Now, I know that some people don't really see car repairs as an emergency. I see car repairs as an emergency because how am I going to get to work? Are you going to pay my bills? Therefore, yes, that is an emergency to me. Rainy day funds, that is for those little uh-ohs. Like you went over your grocery budget or you forgot it was picture day. So now you need to have just a little bit of money to pay for those expenses. And I believe that whenever you are paying off credit card debt on a low income, a rainy day fund is absolutely vital. It does not have to be a large amount that you keep in there. I like to keep at least $50 in my rainy day fund. So whenever you need some money, you can just use the money out of that fund versus swiping your card and running that balance back up. All right, so this tip was a major game changer for me. And that is to transfer to a 0% intro APR card. Yes, I know it seems a little stupid, a little counterintuitive, but hear me out. You may have seen credit card companies promoting this and never really knew what it was. So basically, okay, the sun came out. Hello, sun. So basically, an APR or annual percentage rate is the amount of interest that you are charged over a year. And a lot of times credit card companies will promote 0% APRs, which means that you are not charged any interest. If you are low on income and trying to get out of credit card debt and you're not able to really increase your debt payment, this is something that is very worthwhile, at least looking into it, because all of your payment is going to be going to your balance that's helping you knock it out a lot faster versus your payment going to interest first and then your balance. Now, this intro period typically lasts 12 to 18 months, maybe longer, maybe shorter, just depends on the credit card company. But you want to make sure that during that time you are paying off as much debt as you possibly can, because once that intro period is over, then you will start accruing interest again. Now, this tip may not work for everyone, especially if you don't have good credit, so at least a credit score of 650 and above, or you are someone that has absolutely no self-control, because you are getting another credit line, which means that you have more money available to you to use. But if you are someone who is very disciplined and you have decent credit, then this is something that I recommend looking into, because it was a complete game changer for me, as I said, because I did not have a lot of money to put on my credit cards. But during these intro periods, I was able to knock out a lot more debt. Last tip is common sense. Bring in more money. Now, this can include picking up a flexible side hustle. So you just decided to monetize a skill of yours, whether that is writing, doing hair, etc. If you can increase your debt payments, then you are knocking out those credit card balances a lot faster. So those were all of my tips for paying off credit card debt, especially on a low income. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos, and I will catch you guys in the next one.